When I'm walking down the street.
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
Take my hat off.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just.
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moore?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Done.
And dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself. There's a
the doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
letting His glory shine through. Dare to be you, dare to be me, dare to be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. Entered the winning for the long haul, baby. Our special guest today is Mr. Alex Green. Good morning, Alex. How are you?
Hey, Doni, good morning to you. I'm great, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's get it on out the way. Where you from, Alex?
I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Are you a Ravens fan?
Yeah, I'm a Ravens fan. I'm a little disappointed this morning.
Go ahead and put it out there, man.
Oh, yeah. It was still a great game.
Let's get it all. Let's get all of the boo-hoo-hooing out the way. What'd you do with 5 minutes left?
I actually didn't watch the game.
Oh, damn. Tampa Bay in the house. Michael Randolph all the way down there. Left us. All right, so let's get to business. Tell us about your book here. I got here, but not listening.
Yeah, well, my book is it's a memoir, and it talks about my life. And in the early stages of my life, all the adversities that I experienced was a direct result of not listening to parents, teachers, coaches, siblings, friends, ministers. And then it's a paradox because in the latter stages of my life,
well, I want you to slide to your right a little bit.
Oh, yeah. And then in the latter stages of my life, the successes that I've had was a direct result of not listening to the naysayers or the people that said I couldn't change, or when I started to go back to school. So that's why it's a paradox.
What made you write the book?
Oh, good question, because I had some friends that have been telling me for years to write. I've read a lot of books. So I just wanted to tell my own story, control the narrative myself. So that's what inspired me to write it.
How long did it take you?
Actually, it took me 18 months to write it. 18 months.
So one of the things that you talk about is recovery.
Yes. When I talk about recovery, I'm not just talking about recovery from alcohol and drugs. I'm talking about recovery from a holistic standpoint. I'm talking about recovery from a belief system that I had, a value system. So I spent 30 years in active addiction. And then when I got into recovery, I had to look at my core beliefs and my value system. So I'm not just recovering from just the alcohol and drugs, but those that inner critic or the outside voices that said I couldn't change.
How bad did it get?
Oh, the worst it got is that I had been put in an induced coma in 2021 to save my life. I experienced incarceration, homelessness, and numerous overdoses from not being able to address my inner pain.
So what was your preference?
My preference at that time was heroin.
Intravenous?
No, nasal.
A bag of dope. You know, I used to chase some bags of dope. They had them up on Monroe Street. Then they had them on Pennsylvania Avenue before that. Strong as steel.
Mm-hmm.
Little pink bags. Lord knows what we were sniffing.
Exactly. And that's when and it's interesting that you say that, because when I reflect back on all those years I spent putting a substance in my body that I had no knowledge whatsoever what it was, it just mind-blowing. That I could more or less be in this intimate and monogamous relationship with drugs and alcohol and be okay with abusing myself to that extent. And then wear that like a badge of honor.
I wouldn't eat pork, but I would sniff dope.
That's interesting.
No, I don't eat pork. Oh, how God is able.
Oh, without a doubt.
And so it was coming out of the coma that made you start taking meetings seriously, or
No.
Or you just stop. You just stop.
No. I've
How many
experienced
times
this.
did you get how many times did you get a white keychain?
I was first introduced to Narcotics Anonymous in 1986. So how many times I got a white keychain? Ooh, too many to count. Too many to count. But it was not the. It wasn't. You say what caused me to actually stop? It was that inner pain, man. I looked at my life.
It had to be some incident. Something happened, and you said, "You know what?
Homelessness, and losing my dignity. That's what happened. Because when I came out of that coma, I still didn't stop using. But it was coming to be honest with me about me. I'm looking at my life. I'm 60-something years old. This is a sum total of my life. After I've achieved a lot of things in this journey through God's grace and mercy, and then I find myself once again at the bottom, not because some external agencies, but because of this attitude or this disposition to be a co-conspirator in my own oppression. So looking at that and asking myself, how did I get here again? I've been through this before. What is it? What was it about me that I hated so much that I would abuse myself like that and be okay with it? And for me, homelessness. And I'm not talking about sleeping on the street. I'm talking about when I can no longer provide, when I could no longer have my own place. And as you well know, the way men are socialized in this culture, you're a provider, producer, and a protector. But I'm not providing for no one because I'm not providing for myself. I'm not producing nothing but chaos. And I'm not protecting nothing. I can't even protect me. So that inner pain, I'm looking at that like, oh, I can do better than this. And so I had examples.
Did you ever figure out why or what it is you didn't like about yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it that?
Go ahead.
Was it that?
I figured out that I had to give voice to my inner pain because I experienced a lot of pain and I never gave voice to it. And as you well know, the reason why people use medication, period, or drugs, is to take away the pain. As I heard one person once said, if drugs and alcohol was the answer, what was the question? So I had to go inside and look at what is this unresolved issues? What are these unresolved issues that I have that I need to give voice to in order to save my life?
And what you come up with?
Oh, unresolved grief, disappointments, and trauma.
What's your message to the person who's in recovery for the first time?
My message to the people that's in recovery for the first time, not just to keep coming back, but get invested. Get invested in your life. I do a psychoeducational group on Saturdays at Virginia Hospital detox unit, and these are people coming into recovery for the first time. And one of the things I mentioned to them, you have to re-examine your core values in your belief system. If the core values and belief system doesn't change, nothing is going to change. It's like you're on pause. If I don't think I can have a better life, then going back to the other side looks very appealing when I had to deal with responsibilities. And I don't think it's a fear of success. I think it's the responsibility that comes with being successful. And recovery requires a total commitment. Total commitment.
You know, I have a best friend, and maybe 5 years after I decided to get my life together, he left Baltimore to become a hobo. And they traveled from city to city, state to state, and became homeless, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
And he said his turning point was when, because he used to stash his sleeping bag up in a tree. This is way on the West Coast. And he said he came back one day and his sleeping bag was gone.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he realized he wasn't even good at being homeless.
Mm-hmm.
And so he walked in the rain to the treatment center. Out there on the West Coast, they have homelessness like we've never seen it here on the East Coast. I know now we got white addicts in the Black community.
Right.
But out West, Seattle, Portland, LA,
Mm-hmm.
it's an America that most of us have never seen.
It's true.
See, over here on the East Coast, it ain't no laying down on the ground.
Right.
Why? Because it's cold.
Exactly.
And we got rats. You see in downtown Baltimore, around Baltimore Street, a homeless person, they will lay down on the sidewalk, but a rat will come and nibble on that ear.
Mm-hmm.
So what was the first thing you did? When you had that moment of clarity, did you go to a treatment place? Did you go to your parents' house? Did you go to the church?
I checked myself into Virginia Hospital in Arlington, Virginia. That's what I did. I'm into a 28-day program to start it all over again, because we get reconnected. And one of the things that I discovered, and it's true, it's not that I didn't know what to do. The question was I willing to apply the knowledge that I had to regain my dignity? So I went into this 28-day program in Virginia Hospital that I go back to every Saturday to do those groups. And I stayed there for 28 days, and then I transitioned out into a transitional program. I had to start all over again from rock bottom. And then I started utilizing all the resources that was available to me in Virginia. And one of the things I knew from my profession in behavioral health, that when people are trying to rebuild their lives, there's a lot of resources out there that will assist you. But I had to be willing to tap into those resources, and that's what I did. I utilized every resource that was available to me to get back to this place that I'm at today. And I had to, I remember taking a job with Hobby Lobby, and it's really a big store in Virginia. And I remember I was talking to my cousin, and I was thinking that they were going to pay me like $16 an hour. And she said to me, she said, "Where do you think you at? You're not going to get no $16 an hour working in Hobby Lobby. You're lucky if you get 11. And that's what it was. I worked for $11 an hour. Because what I wanted to do, I didn't want that idle time. I wanted to be engaged. And as a result of doing that, I got inspired to come back into behavioral health.
Oh, you were there before?
I was aware.
In behavioral health?
Oh, yes. I spent most of my life I've been a psychotherapist, hypnotherapist, drug and alcohol counselor, certified rehabilitation counselor. Yeah, I've been in behavioral health most of my life.
But you was getting high too?
No. Hey, Donnie, I'm about to turn 69 years old.
Well, help me out. What did I miss?
Oh, this is what you missed. I had 28 years of active recovery. I relapsed in 2000.
What?
Go ahead.
What happened, man?
Unresolved grief. And mind you, here I work.
Come on now. You got a book out of this. 28 years clean.
Yes. And then I
Ain't
went
no
back.
unresolved grief. What happened, man?
The unresolved grief. Unresolved grief. In 2013, my youngest son was killed. 2018, after 36 years, I'm back in prison. They sent me back. I went back to prison for Medicaid fraud. And I talk about this in the book, but I had to change the names to do the legal reasons. But I think you remember when they had this big epidemic about prescription, the opiate epidemic with Oxycontin and oxycodone, pain management. So after 30-something years, I'm back in prison for what they said I was running a pill mill. So I get out of prison.
Were you?
No, we actually wasn't. If you recall, you may be familiar with this, the Oxycontin Express, when in Florida, they had all these pain management clinics on every corner, like there was liquor stores, and people was coming from all over the country going into Florida to get these prescribed opiates. Well, in 2017 in Baltimore, they had this big epidemic of opiate overdoses, prescription. Be going on. But the health department and everybody else someone had to be an example that we're going to come down hard on doctors and pain management clinics. So they said we was running a pill mill, which we wasn't. One of the things that was happening is that we had people coming from Pennsylvania for pain management. And one of the things I remember being at dinner with my colleagues, and I was saying that, they have a CRIS system that shows you who's prescribing the medication, who's filling it, and where the patient lives. So I said, if a person is coming from Pennsylvania to Baltimore if I'm looking at this CRIF system, so is the DEA. And the question becomes, why are they coming from Pennsylvania to Baltimore, bypassing all these pain management clinics to come to us?
And the answer is?
And the answer is because it was easier for them to get the prescription.
So you were selling scripts?
No, I was not selling scripts. I was providing mental health services.
Come on, Alex.
No. Doni, I can't write scripts. The doctors write scripts. I was responsible for providing the mental health services and substance abuse services for the Suboxone patients that we had, and also group therapy for the pain management clients. But I never wrote scripts.
But you could get a script. Come on, son. I'm from North Avenue, man. You got the scripts or not, man? We trying to go. We trying to go.
No, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And as a result of that, yes, they gave me, they said I was running a pill mill. They said I committed Medicaid fraud. And this, they gave me 10 years, and then they suspended everything but 9 months.
You had a lawyer.
I had God, man.
You either had a lawyer or you threw somebody under the bus?
No. I had 9 co-defendants, and
you took the plea.
I took the plea like 7 other people.
Oh.
Because the pharmacist decided that he would work with the Attorney General office. So
he took a plea too.
Yeah, 7 of us went to prison. And when I came out of that, I lost, of course, I had to go before the board of Maryland professional counselors and therapists, and they stripped me of all my license, that I couldn't practice behavioral health anymore. And even though I was working, thanks to some friends, I was working, but I was so empty inside. I was so empty, and a day for me in prison was like 9 years, 10 years, because my whole fear was that I could die of natural causes in this place. And at 60-something years old, I'm back here again. Yeah, that was very depressing for me.
They say long before we take the first drink or drug, the behavior is already in us.
That's true.
A lot of people want to blame it on the drink or the substance. A lot of people was a crud ball before they even messed with the first drug.
I agree.
The drugs just help bring it to the surface, because a crud ball is a crud ball. And I'm not talking about you. I don't even know you. I'm talking about people who I've been around.
Right.
They won't blame it on this or blame it on that. No, they was a crud ball long before they was a dope fiend.
That's right.
Well, we're so glad you didn't go. And how many institutions were you behind the walls in?
In my lifetime?
Yeah.
In my lifetime, 4.
And they are
Maryland, MCTC, Maryland Correctional Training Center in Hagerstown, Maryland Correctional Institution in Hagerstown, Central Laundry in Sykesville, and Anne Arundel County Detention Center in Glen Burnie.
Are you from Baltimore?
Exactly.
How you keep hanging out down there in Glen Burnie? What's going on down there?
In 2018, when they was charging us for running a pill mill and Medicaid fraud, they had the trial in Annapolis.
No, I'm saying, where you from? East Baltimore, West Baltimore?
East Baltimore.
How you keep ending up down there in Glen Burnie? What was it? Was a girlfriend?
No.
Come on now. You from East Baltimore. Why are you down here in Annapolis?
Because the trial was held in Annapolis for the Doni, for the Medicaid fraud. The trial was held in Glen Burnie because one of the doctors lived in Glen Burnie. Lived in Anne Arundel County. That's how that trial got there.
You weren't living down there?
No, I was living in Baltimore City. Matter of fact, at the time, I was living on Loch Raven.
Because you ain't mentioned none of these local jails.
I wasn't in the local jails.
You were special.
No, I was serving time.
What's your word of advice to people behind the walls on their way home?
I was fortunate enough to be a coordinator for reentry, and going into the various prisons that I served time in to talk to guys and ladies that was coming home. And one of the things I suggested that they do was to get enrolled in, if they didn't have their GED, to get their GED, get into Department of Rehabilitation Services to get on a career track. And also suggested to allow them look at going to school. And I know a lot of people say that college is not for everybody, but I
don't buy that.
I don't buy that because I'm talking about learning.
Hey, when they go over to jail, if they a teenager and they over to jail, what's the first thing that people have them do?
Go to school.
Now you gonna tell me it take a Negro to go all the way to jail to have to go to school, but yet somebody out here telling me, oh, not everybody meant to go to college.
Right.
If you're an electrician, a carpenter,
right,
a bricklayer, you still got to know how to count your money.
Exactly.
Where did we get this dummying down of black brilliance from?
I always totally disagree with that. You talking to a guy who was kicked out of Baltimore City School in the 10th grade, didn't get my GED to 1979 when I came home, and I was at Catonsville Community College taking this exam for the GED, and I had this epiphany. Why don't you go to college? Because I had some friends that had went to college. I grew up with people that went to college. But when I was taking that GED exam on Catonsville Community College, I said, you know what? I'm going to do that. Now, I remember telling some people that I was going to college, and they say, you got to be kidding me. Because this is the same guy, they were looking at me with yesterday's eyes like, can't believe he's going to college. But college, for me, was a form of behavior modification. And it kept me engaged, man. And I think learning is for anyone, because all colleges, like everything else, is discipline involved. And if someone else, it's interesting, Doni, because I used to teach undergrad and grad school for 15 years. And I used to say to the students, if the only time you pick up a book, that book, to read when you get an assignment from the professor, then you're really not invested in your education. Because if someone else have to mandate you to read a book, you're really not invested in that. And when you talk about how kids can go into the correctional institution and then all of a sudden they're attending school because someone else, it's these external factors that's driving that. But when you get to the point that it's internally driven, you're doing this because you want to learn. You're doing this because you want to improve the quality of your life. And I lost a thought with that because I was going somewhere with that. And another reason why I wanted to go to school. In 1979, I remember I went before the parole board, and they said, well, we're going to finally give you parole and all that. But the long story short, one of those members of the board said, "We'll see you again." I said, "You'll never see me again." One of the things that I wanted to do, and I talk to ex-offenders about this all the time. One of the things that you learn in prison is patience. And if you don't apply that when you come out here, you'll be seduced by the streets into that fast life again. But if you just apply patience, all those things that you want, you will get that if you're willing to do the work. But this is not a microwave process. Just like recovery is not no microwave process. You have to be willing to go through the ups and downs, just like just like the weatherman will report the high tides or low tides at 6:45, high tides at 9. In this whole process of life, I'm going to have some highs and lows. And when the lows come, I don't have to sweat that because I know if I stay the course, the quality of my life will get better. And I say this to patients every Saturday. You may not know where this process is going, but you know it's better than where you've been. Period. If you ever been homeless, go ahead.
So some people I know in the world of formerly incarcerated persons have hipped me to what not to say. They don't like the term returning citizen. I mean, ex-offender.
No, they like I know, returning citizen.
And they ain't all that fond of returning citizen. They tend to use formerly incarcerated. Hey, I'm just telling you, I done been around and they caught some feelings that I wasn't trying to catch no hatchet. Anyway, we're talking with Alex Green. This is his book. Alex Green is a passionate behavioral health consultant committed to sharing the transformative gift of empowerment. A native of Baltimore, he was raised in Lafayette projects where he faced the harsh realities in urban America. Like many youths in his community, Mr. Green fell prey to the seductive allure of street culture, which led him to illegal activity. So look, we had a cat on this show last week. And in this book, I'm going to tell you, he pitched the book. And I know he's watching because I pulled him up on it. I'm from North Avenue, East and West. I claim it.
I know.
He said he was from the toughest projects in Baltimore. And I said, where? Now, I know you're watching the show, and I ain't pulling you up during your interview, but he said Cherry Hill was the time out. He said Cherry Hill was the toughest projects. Now, that's what he got on the cover. Now, he said on the inside, it say, is one of the toughest projects. And I'm just going to say, homeboy.
Yeah.
I done been to Cherry Hill, but I done been to Murphy Homes, and I done been to Flag House.
Right.
Now, I ain't saying Lafayette wasn't tough. I'm talking about in my days of rip racing running the street. I remember down Flag, cat had a Uzi. There was somebody with a Uzi on every level.
Every level.
Of the stairwell.
Mm-hmm.
And you talking about the 90s. And Murphy Homes, oh, it wasn't even no going in there.
Right.
Not me.
Mm-mm.
Unless you know somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come to find out about Lafayette. Let me tell you, when I first went in Lafayette, I was at Dunbar. It was almost a badge of honor. You know how it is. You 15, 16.
Yeah.
Somebody say, well, we going over so-and-so. I was over Lafayette. You're like, oh, my God, I'm going to get to go over here. There might have been some weed involved. I don't know.
Right.
But we get there. And I look at this apartment because you got this prejudice in your mind.
Yes.
About what the projects are.
That's right.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
Man, we went in there. They got floor model TVs, wall-to-wall carpet, sofa back-to-back. I'm like, damn, I want to move to the project. I also say this. My daddy said the projects were never meant to be a multi-generational habitat.
Exactly.
We had family members who lived in the projects. They said the idea was to move there, get your stuff together, and bounce.
That's right.
But there are other people that want to spend eternity there. And to each his own.
To each his own.
Let me ask you this. When you were homeless, did you always know that you didn't have to be homeless?
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I knew that. I knew that.
And I want to ask you this.
Go ahead.
In Baltimore, the squeegee kids was on the corner. Fox News talked about him every damn day. They called Brandon Scott everything but a child of God. They blamed the squeegee kid problem on Brandon Scott. What's her name? Wow. McIntyre Frost? McMillan Frost? Oh, Mackenzie Frost. That's right. My bad. Mackenzie, little white girl, always got the microphone all up in Brandon's face. Since Freddie Gray, and this is 10 years, the police stopped G-checking white people buying dope in the hood. Wow. So I want to ask you, how come Fox News don't talk about the white addicts in the black community walking up to cars, panhandling, getting real close? Because I tell them, quick, step away from the vehicle.
That's right. That's right.
I don't know who you are. Step away. But they're real comfortable, and that's that white privilege thing. The same thing with this cat in D.C.
Yeah.
You got a felony, and you're the president of the United States. Help me understand white privilege and drug addiction.
I'm glad you asked that question, Donnie. I remember meeting with Dr. Naeem Akbar in San Diego when I was out in San Diego, California at a conference. And Dr. Naeem Akbar, we had dinner. We were having this discussion. And one of the things he said to me that still hold true today, those who control your images shape your reality. If you look at the images that they portray of crime, drug addiction, it's always assigned to a black face. And the reason why, even like with that that whole opiate epidemic, there's always been an opiate epidemic in our community growing up in the projects. But when it start knocking on the Caucasian's door, then it becomes a problem. But you will report crime in the black community, but you will never report the crime that's going on in the Caucasian community. And it's almost like when people talk about black on black crime, I don't subscribe to that either. Because when I look at other parts of this country, when I look at the world, in Israel, in Portland, they kill people. So whenever there's a group of people, these people kill each other. Italians kill Italians, Jews kill Jews, etc. So it's not this thing of black on black crime. But the media will try to portray us as being these violent people. Or the media will try to shape the narrative that the drug addiction is only assigned to the black community, or the crime is only assigned to the black community, or the squeegee kids. The squeegee kids is a threat to the community. Those who control the narrative. And one of the things is, if Donnie, as you well know, you got some of our own people subscribe to that narrative. They think everything they see.
Until they find themselves in that same situation.
Say it again, Donnie.
Until they find themselves in that same situation.
In that same situation. So,
I do black media. I run into it all the time.
Yeah.
When their ass get in trouble, they want to come on this show and explain themselves.
Yeah.
Because they know white media gonna kick them to the curb.
Exactly.
But meanwhile, they look down their nose.
You mentioned something else. How can a felon be occupying the White House? And I remember saying that when this was unfolding, we're looking at a political sitcom. That's what we're looking at. And when we understand the history of this country, we knew that, yeah, they were going to put him back in there. Because it's not a country based on morality. America is driven by money. And you know, if they're not going to put a Caucasian female in office, you know good and well, Harris didn't have a shot. So it was like window dressing. I can't remember who wrote this book, but he said it's called Criminalizing the Race. And they use that to justify why they can't hire ex-offender or someone, I forgot the term that you use that they prefer to be called, but that's another way they use it to disqualify you from having access to certain services.
That's what makes me laugh at this country.
Yeah, the hypocrisy.
These are the same people that talk about Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Ooh.
It's like, go sit your heathen ass down. You don't know nothing about God.
Right.
Or like when I see Pat Robertson come on TV talking about, him and his son. And then all of a sudden they're the moral authority. Go sit your monkey ass down.
Yeah.
Damn hypocrite.
Yeah.
I don't know what God they serve. So look here, in this book they call you, what's your nickname?
Top.
Where you get that from?
My grandmother.
Hey, you over there smiling.
Say it again.
I see you over there smiling.
By all means. When I think about, I come from a loving family. I mean, you know what? I don't have the luxury of saying, oh, the reason why I did this or did that because I came from this very toxic family. No, I came from a loving family. My extended family was even loving and caring, man. So I know what it is to be held in high regards. I know what it is for people to believe in me. I know what it is for people to love me unconditionally. Unconditionally, man. So that was my nickname. And I write about this in the book. When I go through my transformation, I divorced that and embraced Alex. Because I'm no longer that nipnod running around in the projects being self-destructive.
So you went from like Saul to Paul.
Explain.
Well, Saul was ganking people along the road. And then Paul, he was touched by Jesus. Hallelujah. You go to church, man?
Oh, yeah. I do. And
what's the difference today?
Oh. In the church?
No. In your life.
In my life. Man, what's the difference today, man, is that I live in the moment, man. I appreciate every day that I'm alive. I'm serving.
A grateful addict is a clean addict.
Oh, by all means. This is MLK Day, and I know you're familiar with, I listened to his sermon about being a drum major, the drum major instinct. And one of the things that I understand and I've learned in my experience, the more I serve others, I was sent here to serve. I wasn't sent here to be preoccupied with me. I'm a servant, man, and I'm glad to be that. I'm glad to be that. And what's different about me today is my value system has changed. Man, I embrace the inner peace that I've found through doing the work.
So you finally write this book. I got here by not listening.
Yes.
By Alex. Got your name right there.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Green. How did that feel? You ever had a book published before?
No, this is my first one. this is my first one. I mean, there was no adjective that I could find to describe it, man. It was just it's I think it's equivalent to the first time I graduated from college. That feeling like, wow, I did that. Because this was to start out as just a thought. And then I got into the writing process of it. And then before I know it, it was here. And I was like, wow. Which only speaks volume to whatever I put my attention to. If I'm committed, then it could, not just me. I'm not unique in that. That goes for anyone. When I think of, I want to say this about, I remember reading a poem by Maya Angelou. She talks about because I'm human. And she talks about because I'm human, nothing human is foreign to me. When I see you fall, when I see you cry, because I'm human, nothing human is foreign to me. It lets me know that I can fall and I can cry too. However, when I see you get back up, when I see you regain your dignity, when I see you stop crying, because I'm human and nothing human is foreign to me, it lets me know that I can get back up. I can regain my dignity and I can stop crying too, because I'm human and nothing human is foreign to me. So that, man, applies across the board. Anything we see, learned behaviors, I can learn that.
How long did it take you to write the book? You said 18 months?
18 months.
How much did it cost you? So Michael Randolph is asking that question. Michael, this is a loaded question because I'll tell you this, and his book is 300 pages. Is that right?
No, 290.
250, 300 pages.
Yeah.
My first book, Mike, was 180 pages, but it cost me, the most money I spent was on the editor.
Yep.
I spent every bit of $1,200 on an editor because I was wordy.
Yeah. That's where most of the money goes, on the editors.
And the editor chisel that thing into shape.
Chisel it. Chisel it. You be arguing back and forth about, no, I want to leave this part in there. They said, we got to chop this down. Yeah. The editors.
I had to fire that same editor too.
Mm-hmm.
That you'd have cut enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But she did a great job. It's just that we got to a point I got to go because I ain't going to keep kicking out.
That was my whole thing also. I was at 3,500 and he was only in chapter 4. And I got 13 chapters. And I said,
see them boys in all black about to knock on his door one night.
Say it again, Donnie.
Them boys in all black was about to knock on his door one night.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just like the dope game, you got dope fiend mentality people in the book game. You got dope fiend mentality people who never took a drug in the website game.
That's right. That's right. Unscrupulous people everywhere.
They never touched a dope, a coke, a rock, or a drink.
Yes.
Crud ball.
Yes,
Ain't number one.
Yes.
You'll learn it. You'll meet them in business.
You will. Oh, you will. Especially in the publishing game, in the book game.
In all these games.
And say it again, Donnie.
In all the games.
In all of them. In all of them.
Insurance. You trying to get some medical insurance, your Medicaid or what have you.
Yes.
A person who has worked their entire life and now they become sickly and they need Medicaid. They got to learn the hustle.
Yep.
Because a lot of times when you go in there being straight up, and then you got this little dumbass behind the counter, they don't care that you work 40 years.
So they care nothing about that.
got their own issue.
Yes, they do.
And somebody was dumb enough to let them answer the phone.
Yep.
A person been working 40 years, their whole life, and now they need insurance, and they can't get it.
Can't get
because
it.
of this.
Mm-hmm.
But oh, how God is able. What's
He
your
does
message out there, man? Let's hit that recovering person one more time. What you want to tell them?
I want to tell them to just get involved in a 12-step community. Write down a gratitude list every day. Find something that you're grateful for, and build a network of people that are willing to walk with you, people that are willing to give you a word of encouragement when you can't give that to yourself. And practice, last thing I will say, to practice self-forgiveness. Because if you don't forgive yourself, you won't feel as though you're worthy of a better life. And that's why
yourself, and you got to forgive other people too. I know I've held some, I did some not forgiving for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Let it go.
Yeah.
There's more for you than the individual.
Yes, it is for you. The forgiving is for you.
Avon Bellamy said, to not do it is to deny God's love.
Yeah.
For myself.
You know what? Hey, Donnie, it's interesting too, because I remember talk about this, is that I'm going to God and I'm praying for patience, forgiveness, and tolerance. And then his response to me is, Alex, can you extend to other people the same thing you're seeking from me? Patience, love, tolerance, forgiveness.
That's what Avon Bellamy told me, because he knew if I had a shank, I'd have shanked this person. But he said you got to extend the same love that God extended to you.
That's right.
But I swear I wanted to just
Yeah.
But he said, I surrender all.
I surrender. You know, I surrender, man.
They was real lucky, because I wasn't going to miss. But then I would end up being, potentially being a resident in one of the facilities. And the longest I've ever been there was 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Why do young boys keep throwing bricks at the penitentiary, man?
Oh, man.
What don't they realize?
They don't. Hey, Don, I think it's a very complex thing. I think it's a society that we live in that always, they get seduced by the advertisements. Some of them have a microwave mentality, and the others have untreated mental health issues that they find themselves just self-sabotaging. And I think it's a very complex thing, but I think that they don't see the possibilities for their lives. They don't think that their lives, the quality of their life, can improve if they just have this paradigm shift.
Look at Michael Randolph said, AI, I'm going to let you handle this. AI, here's Michael Randolph, because he real big on AI. AI can now do the work of an editor.
He said AI can now do the work of an editor. Yeah, but AI.
The first question is, Michael Randolph, how many books have you written? I don't think he has any books out there.
Oh.
My point is, be careful taking advice from somebody who ain't never done it.
Who never done it. That is so true. Hey, Donnie, the reason why that is so true, I used to be a barber and a cosmetologist, and I used to hear guys come in the shop and they would say, oh, the government give all this money to all these foreigners that come in here to open up businesses. And then I would ask them, do you know where the Small Business Association is located at? No. Have you ever applied for a small business loan? No. So how can you say the government is giving money to all these other people and won't give it to you. And it's so true what you said. You can never get information if someone haven't done it. Then they can't really speak on that. You know,
I'm gonna tell you this. If you got AI doing all of your work of it as an editor, then it ain't really your book.
It's not your book. It's not your book. And it's interesting that you mentioned that because I'm about to start the process of doing a audio book. And I said I was going to use my own voice on that because no one can tell my story the way I tell it. And AI, may edit it, but AI won't give the voice, won't have my voice, won't have my emphasis. And as someone told me, if AI is doing it, then it's like plagiarism. You plagiarizing your own work.
We ain't gonna tell them too much, Alex. Alex, we want you to. Where can people get your book? I got here by not listening.
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Lulu, hardback, paperback, and ebook.
And you'll be at the Black Wall Street Expo on February 22nd.
February 27th. I'll be on at the Black Wall Street Expo.
So why don't you take a moment and I'm gonna give you the full screen. Because Alex, let me tell you something I noticed about you. You're a talker.
Oh.
I think you talk a dog off a meat truck. You sell an Eskimo igloo. Slicker than a can of oil. Go ahead, plug your book.
I got here by not listening on Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Lulu, paperback, hard copy, and also ebook.
Tell them why they should buy it.
Oh, this book is very insightful, will help you understand that some of the adversities that you find yourself in now is a direct result of not listening. And it will inspire you to just take a moment, re-examine your core values, your belief system, and create another course for yourself, another path.
All right. Shout out to your cousin Dave Green out there in Baltimore County.
Yes, indeed. Dave Green and the Parkers and the Davises and the whole family. Yes, indeed.
Thank you for joining us. Good morning, world.
Good morning.